Centaur, your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, shots fired in Corozal town. One man is injured while two houses are riddled with bullets. Corozal prisoner who escaped police custody remains on the lam. Police ask for your assistance to get him back behind bars. And there is great news for farmers tonight as El Salvador gives Belize the green light for exportation. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Friday, July 21st, 2023.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión pues era Sara.
Good evening with your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. One man from the community of Chen in the Corozal district is tonight recovering from a gunshot injury received during a crazed shootout at his home on Thursday night. According to official police reports, officers responded to reports of a shooting incident in the community of Chen shortly before 8 o'clock on Thursday night. Upon arrival at the home of 43-year-old Sergio Hall Sr., police observed him with a gunshot injury to the right shoulder, which was bleeding profusely. The senior Hall then reported to police that he was inside his home along with his wife, Annabeth Hall, his son, Sergio Hall Jr., and his 10-year-old daughter, when a small white four-door vehicle pulled up to the residence. Two male persons were observed exiting the vehicle. One of the perpetrators is described as being of slim build, about 6 feet 2 inches in height, wearing a gray hoodie and black pants, who was armed with a rifle, and the other male person was wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, black pants, and a black ski mask over his face. He was also armed with a rifle. The first male person is said to have walked up to the home of Sergio Hall, while the second waited near the Hall's parked Chevrolet Malibu. Sergio Hall's brother, Leonardo Hall, who lives next door to him, noticed the perps approaching the home and made efforts to alert his brother and his family of the impending danger. This is when the first individual opened fire on Sergio Hall and his family, while the second shooter returned to Leonardo's home, firing as many as 20 rounds in his direction. Leonardo Hall, who at time was inside the living room area of the house, then alerted his brother, Sergio Hall Sr., where the person on the veranda started shooting inside the house, causing the said injury to Sergio Hall Sr. The second person then started firing in the direction of Leonardo Hall's house. Once the gunfire subsided, the two male persons are said to have returned to their vehicle and drove away into the night. Luckily, no one was fatally injured, and only Sergio Hall Sr. received an injury to the shoulder and an abrasion to the back. Both the homes belonging to the Hall brothers were riddled with bullet holes. In the area, police were able to recover 15 7.62 caliber expended shells, along with 5.223 caliber expended shell and two 5.56 shells, all of which we must note are for high-powered rifles. Police have identified the detainee who managed to escape from a Corozal cop after he, meaning the cop, fell while chasing the prisoner. The amateur video went viral on video and shows the police officer dashing in full speed behind the handcuffed prisoner. The cop, for some reason, loses his balance and falls flat to the ground, picks himself up, and sets chase after the escapee once more. But he does not manage to catch up with Tyrone Reyes, who until now remains on the lam. The commissioner told reporters yesterday that the detainee played possum when he went to court. He said he was not feeling well, and so the magistrate instructed that he be taken to see a doctor, and while at the Corozal Community Hospital, he executed his plan and made good his escape. Reyes is believed to be hiding in the area of Carmelita Village in Orange Walk. Residents are reminded that harboring a prisoner is against the law. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Reyes is asked to call the nearest police station. Earlier this week, we spoke about agreement reached between the government's legal team and BSI as it relates to certain aspects of the sugar industry license to export sugar, which was challenged by BSI earlier this year. One of the main areas challenged in that legislation is the stipulation that BSI must pay fair trade premiums directly to associations for them to obtain their export license. With the regulations essentially put on pause, the future of the BSCFA as it relates to fair trade premiums also remains in limbo. During an interview with Chairman of the Committee of Management for the BSCFA, Fred Ortega, earlier this week he gave us an update on the ongoing negotiations between the association, Fair Trade, and Tate & Lyle as it relates to reaching an agreement that will have the BSCFA receiving its premiums.
En estos momentos estamos teniendo diálogos con la gente de Fair Trade International, que estén como mediador en medio de nosotros ahorita, y estamos tratando con ellos. Sin embargo, vuelve otra vez de que quieren de que nosotros firmemos para que podamos, según ellos, para que podamos tener el enhancement letter, quieren que firmemos esos compromisos tal y como lo están trayendo en la mesa, de la cual vemos de que es dañino para nosotros porque nos está llevando otra vez a la esclavitud, como estábamos en los principios del siglo XVIII, y esto ya entonces nos está trayendo de que nosotros tenemos que firmar por nuestra propia esclavitud, de la cual no estamos de acuerdo con eso. Ya Fair Trade nos ha estado, Flowsort ha estado dando varios apoyos para lograr tener mayor conocimiento, y en realidad eso no debe estar sucediendo. Más debemos de estar respetando los derechos humanos. Ellos deben de estar respetando los derechos humanos para que así todos podamos estar trabajando en armonía, de la cual eso no está sucediendo en estos momentos.
Now, while those negotiations are ongoing, earlier this month, Tate & Lyle's Julia Clark sent a letter to Ortega where she is calling out the BSCFA for sharing information with its members that is, quote, incorrect and misleading. Clark lists several statements made in documents shared by the management of the BSCFA, which they say has incorrect information. One of those being that fair trade premiums are owed to the BSCFA by TLS. Ortega also spoke on these allegations, which he says is simply a tactic to divide the BSCFA.
Bueno, uno de los puntos que ellos están hablando es de que ellos no nos deben a nosotros nada, que porque no tenemos un contrato con Tate & Lyle. Sin embargo, cuando tú entras en los estándares de Flow, de Fair Trade, ahí no dice que nosotros tenemos que tener un contrato con Tate & Lyle. Más bien sí debemos de tener un contrato con BSI, que es nuestro en Miller, a donde entregamos nuestra caña, porque pues ahí tiene que haber acuerdos como estamos trabajando. Así es de que en el caso nuestro en Belice, nosotros no vendemos azúcar, y todos lo saben de que el cañero no tiene nada de autoridad de mercadear el azúcar, es BSI que tiene ese contrato. Así es que en ese caso es BSI con Tate & Lyle que deben de tener un acuerdo en lo que refiere a la venta de azúcar. Nosotros no tenemos, y eso es a donde ellos dicen que porque no tenemos un contrato con Tate & Lyle, así es de que no podemos o que le estamos mintiendo al cañero que porque ellos no nos deben nada a nosotros. Sin embargo, nosotros sí creemos que nos deben por medio de esas razones de lo que dice el estándar. El otro punto que ellos dicen de que estamos dando información incorrecta al cañero, realmente en la misma forma que ellos vienen a tratar de querernos implementar, que nosotros queremos de acuerdo con los términos que ellos están poniendo, en realidad no hay en ningún lado que eso tenga que suceder, más bien es como mencioné anterior, que nosotros debemos de tener nuestra certificación clara, debemos de tener un contrato o un agreement con BSI de la cual cumplimos con esos dos. En realidad, en Norma, es una táctica de ellos que han estado utilizando siempre, a donde siempre han estado peleando ellos de que el cañero de BSCFA se vaya para otro lado poniéndoles esta clase de quejas o esta clase de cosas como que si nosotros venimos a estar mintiéndoles. Realmente nosotros hemos ido a hacer aclaraciones con los cañeros. Nosotros, cuando tú hablas con cualquier personal, inclusive con la gente de CLAC, nosotros cumplimos con los requisitos para que nos paguen nuestro premio. La situación es de que ellos están utilizando esta herramienta para no pagarnos nuestro premio a nosotros porque quieren que nosotros por obligación firmemos el acuerdo tal y como lo quiere BSI, de la cual es el mismo acuerdo que nosotros hemos estado luchando de que sea diferente porque vemos que ese acuerdo no le beneficia al productor, no le beneficia al cañero.
And we have more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión pues era Sara.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
There is some great news for local Belizean farmers as today the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise announced that Belizean products will soon be approved for exportation to El Salvador. According to the release, following efforts by the ministry to open markets for Belizean products in El Salvador, the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock of El Salvador has informed the Belize Marketing and Development Corporation that a request for a pest risk analysis (PRA) for 4 commodities including carrot, citrus, onion, and pineapple has been approved. This, according to the ministry, is the first step in the exportation of commodities Therefore, Belizean farmers will soon be able to export these products to El Salvador. The process started back in early in 2022 when Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Jose Abelardo May, the BMDC, and 3 lead farmers from different agricultural communities in Belize visited El Salvador to introduce samples of 10 agricultural commodities grown in Belize. Meetings were held with different Salvadoran importers and market visits were conducted in El Salvador. Contacts were also established to initiate the negotiations to have Belizean products exported. Later in November of last year, the ministry says that BMDC made a second visit and continued liaising with its counterparts in El Salvador. The corporation, with the assistance of the Embassy of Belize in Salvador, coordinated meetings with the Salvadoran Ministry of Agriculture and importers to facilitate the PRA. The opening of another export market for Belizean products, according to the ministry, is a major step forward for farmers and the entire Belizean economy. Even as the ministry celebrates this huge stride, it also continues the negotiations with Mexico and Guatemala to ensure markets for Belizean products are assured through diplomacy and bilateral agreements as promised in Plan Belize. Summer camps are demand this time of the year as students find themselves out of the classroom. One camp that caught our attention today brings along a collaborative effort between NDAC, HIGOPAB, and BFLE here in Orange Walk Town. The one-week event saw young people from all parts of the Orange Walk district expanding their knowledge in various health topics. We had a one-on-one with a few of the participants today who told us what they learned. But first, we got a rundown of the week's activities with NDAC representative and participating facilitators.
Our overall objective was health education and for the children to learn how to make health choices.
Why it comes from NDAC?
It's because if you sit down and if you put the concept of drugs, people who are stressed out use drugs. And there's little details that leads persons to that stress, right? Some people get stressed on their weight. Some people get stressed on their bodies. Some people, get stressed on bullying on social media. So if we could minimize that stress and share information on how to uplift and build up your self-esteem, then we have people that have less reasons to go and use drugs.
For the facilitators, instilling relevant and accurate information to the participants is imperative in an era where everyone runs to Google for an answer.
I was one of the facilitators, also one of the coordinators for this program. We mainly try to deal with the younger kids because we know there's not a lot of programs that deal with young people, especially dealing with health, which is one of the most important things that we need to think about when we think about young people. For us, we know that if we want to see a change in how their outcomes is in life, we need to start from a younger age so that we can capture them and make sure that they make the proper decisions down the line.
Basically, we try to engage young people at least for every summer, but yes, we do engage them with our youth group through the YAM, which is the Youth Advocacy Movement, part of BFLA. Basically, it's a youth group devoted to basically to advocate for the sexual and reproductive rights of young people.
So what was your sharing with them?
Basically, this entire week we basically shared information on puberty so that they know their body parts. We shared information about their emotions. We shared information about nutrition and about drugs. Basically, by providing this information to them, we have found out that young people basically make better decisions in their daily lives.
What were some of the methods you used to transfer your information?
Basically, we had a group discussion among peers. We also had them do some skits, some presentations. They had to present the information that they got back. They had to basically teach it back to the other young people in the program.
The idea was to spread awareness about unspoken topics in the home like drugs and the human reproductive system.
On Monday, we learn about the female and male reproductive system. The females get period every 30 days, and they get to grow boobs, hips get wider, their butts get bigger, and the males, they just like, they get more sperm. Yes, sir. And their voice, well, they change voice, they get more deeper.
We learned stress management, how to deal with mental health, how to be safe online.
Okay, so tell me more.
For mental health, it's to find stress relievers, find something that makes you feel calm, like reading, sleeping, watching movies, listening to music. For technology, it's not to post everything about yourself online. Don't accept random people's friend requests. Have a safe password.
We talk about drugs on Wednesday. We learn about that drugs are not good for you or some children out on the street. We learn about also drugs for like two person cannot smoke in one drugs. If you take a drugs, you could get addicted to it. You cannot trust people to give you drugs. You cannot make people give you drugs. You cannot allow people to give you drugs.
The camp seeks to garner more participation next year. During an interview with the media on Wednesday, Finance Director of BSI, Sean Chavaria, spoke on the importance of re-engaging with the BSCFA on the matter of the commercial agreement. Yesterday, when we asked Chairman of the Committee of Management of the BSCFA, Fred Ortega, about that matter, he explained that the BSCFA has maintained the doors of discussions wide open and is simply waiting on BSI ASR to move away from their stance, which he says has left no room for negotiations.
Nosotros como BSCF, nosotros nunca cerramos las puertas de la negociación. Nosotros hemos tenido nuestra puerta abierta para negociar. Simplemente BSI ha traído en la mesa de que es esto o nada. Ellos son los que han venido con esa acción o esa clase de carácter, de que si no es lo que yo traigo en la mesa no podemos dialogar nada y una negociación no va así, una negociación va donde ambas partes llegamos a ciertos puntos de acuerdo y entonces ahí seguimos para adelante. Así es de que en estos momentos, en lo que la BSCFA ha traído, y como bien lo has escuchado de parte del primer ministro y el ministro de Agricultura, de que lo que estamos esperando en estos momentos es de que se ponga el comité de investigación, cuál es el Commission of Inquiry. Necesitamos de que eso se dé porque ya fuimos con BSI ya en muchos pasos, ya vamos para 2 años de estar en este diálogo y no hemos logrado salir adelante con ellos. Así es que ahora está en manos de que se ponga el Commission of Inquiry para que así hagan la investigación necesaria para que entonces ya nos podamos sentar a dialogar basado en los resultados del informe que saque el Commission of Inquiry.
The hope, according to Ortega, is that GOB is able to assemble the Commission of Inquiry, which will then guide the way forward for negotiations.
Debe de salir algo diferente. No puede ser lo que BSI nos está dando, porque BSI nunca nos ha venido con el informe claro de que esto es eso, que nosotros podamos quedar satisfechos de que lo que nos está mostrando es la verdad. Siempre han estado tratando de tapar las cosas, siempre solo nos dan una hoja de informe de la cual hay ciertas cosas que vienen y nos dicen, no, esto no costó esto, pero solo es lo que ellos dicen, no estamos viendo nada. Así es de que nosotros tenemos ese pensamiento de que la comisión debe de sacar algo diferente de lo que hoy nos están cobrando, porque hemos hecho nuestro research alrededor y hay muchos cobros que nos están haciendo que está exageradamente inflado. Así es de que tenemos ese sentimiento de que algo diferente debe de salir cuando la comisión de investigación haga su investigación.
As the current interim agreement is soon to expire, Ortega says the BSCFA has reached out to the sub-ministerial committee to seek guidance on a way forward.
Pues en esos momentos, en Norma, hemos estado hablando y le hemos mandado ya una carta al chairman del subcommittee, el ministerial subcommittee, que es Mr. Musa, pidiéndole de que nos necesitamos sentar con él porque necesitamos de que nombren a las personas que van a estar en esa comisión y que hagan su investigación. Así tal vez no va a llevar mucho tiempo más de lo que se necesita cuando termine este current extension de agreement que tenemos. Así es de que necesitamos dialogar con ellos y de ahí pues entonces basado en lo que surja, ahí es a donde vemos donde tenemos que trabajar. Realmente como BSCFA nosotros nos urge de que podamos salir adelante, pero al mismo tiempo queremos de que en lo que estamos luchando que sea de beneficio para nuestros cañeros.
Professional footballers of all ages, presently the Jaguar family is in Colombia in a well-organized visit to edge out skills and adaptability of players. Head coach of the team, Anthony Pelayo Sr., accompanied the under-15 team on their visit to the South American country. Their first official stop was with Mayor of Chivata, Colombia, Mayor Rafael Antonio Fonseca Celi at Estadio Municipal de Chivata.
We were welcomed to the town of Tunja, Chibata village, and we were welcomed. They had a ceremony for us by the Mayor Rafael Fonseca, which was well presented. You know, we exchanged gifts. They gave us a flag for the town, and we exchanged our national team uniform, cups, and openers. You know, in exchange of the mayor, and they are welcome. They were open arms to us, gave us their facility for training. So I must say thanks to the mayor of Tunja in welcome us to use their facility within their town.
Pelayo says the trip is significant for the players' personal and professional development.
The purpose for us here in Colombia is to prepare our guys at a higher altitude in preparation for the CONCACAF U15 tournament, which will kick off in August in Curacao.
Okay, what are some of the different tactics or, I don't know, training workshops that you're going to be engaging in with these young people there?
Well, we are focusing on endurance at a high altitude. So when our guys go to play in Curacao at a lower altitude, we expect them to have a much more stamina, much more endurance to last throughout the game. So the purpose for us here is to work at an endurance level, tactical and technical aspect of the game. The logistics for this was put when we went to Costa Rica to participate in the CONCACAF U15 tournament. The president, Mr. Serhochuk, who we must recognize for being very, very important in investing in youth football and investing in this U15 national team. You know, we sat down, we look at our preparation back home, we look at the attitude that we are training. And in football specifically, you see clubs, you see national team travel at a higher altitude to train before going into a tournament. So this was put together by the Football Federation of Belize. And I must say, Mr. Juan Carlos, who is very, very instrumental, a parent of one of the players who sit down and contributed for this to be a reality.
Team captain Marlon Mesa says the team must be determined to learn everything available in the paid trip to Colombia because more than a sport, football is a discipline.
It's not the first time I'm out of Belize, but this is a very wonderful and very a trip that can get all of us a lot of experience and endurance in our training.
As the leader of your team, as the captain of your team, how important is this trip for you? And what is it that you've learned so far?
Well, this trip is very important. I think that everyone needs to work hard and really get serious because this will determine how we play out there in our tournament.
Okay, and now what is it that you're going to be doing now differently when you go to the field? Because obviously you're there to learn different skills of football, right, of the game. So what are some of the things that you're going to be doing differently now to make sure that maybe you get a win with your team?
Well, I think what I would do differently is like be more of a leader and like be exemplary to my teammates so that we can execute well.
Noted the CONCACAF games are set to be played in Curacao and the U15 are ready to showcase their skills and talent on the fields come August. The Belize Civic Center has been selected as the place where the FIBA Under-17 Central Basketball Championship in Belize City. The games will play off from the 26th to the 30th of July 2023. Playing this year are teams from Costa Rica, El Salvador, Panama, and Mexico from the America and Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, and Belize from the Caribbean. The teams who secure first, second, and third place in the championship will qualify for the Under-18 Americas Championship. One of the young athletes, Tavon Dawson, appeared on the Spirit of Belize. Dawson is the first Orange Walk 16-year-old to be called to the Belize Basketball Federation, a moment he says is deserving after all the hard work. The 6 feet 1 inch tall athlete shared what brought him to the sport of basketball.
Well, I started playing basketball from a young age because my family is very exposed to the game. So I used to go with my mother as her friend to go and play basketball. That's when I really started to love the game.
Right. Okay. And how did you feel when you got that call that you made it on the national team?
I felt very grateful because I can represent my country, and with my friends in the team, most of them are my friends, so felt grateful that how I could represent with them.
This is the first time Belize is hosting the Under-17 games in country, and the Secretary General of Belize Basketball Federation says all of Belize should come out and show their support.
Sometimes parents would say, buy left the ball there, that not feed you, or that not pay nothing, come study. You understand?
Number one.
Come study, come spend the time and study. So with this incentive, we kind of neutralize that. So that parents and the guardians can understand that there is value, as long as we can have it in a structure, that there is value and there is opportunity when it comes to sports in general. The U17 Central Basket Championship starts off next week, Wednesday, the 26th, and it runs to the 30th. It will be held at the Belize Civic Center, and I must say that we have some powerhouses coming in, because the Central Basket Championship is not just Central America. It includes the Americas and the Caribbean. So we have teams like Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Dominican Republic, Mexico, Jamaica, Panama, and of course, we will be representing our country here.
I encourage everyone to come out for these games. All the games will be good for sure because we will come to play. So we encourage everyone to come out from the first night to the last night and support your Belizean fans and family.
So get your tickets and come out to support Tavon Dawson and Team Belize. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Monday, July 24th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read the text version of the news, you can visit our website at CTV3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at Facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, have a safe and pleasant weekend. Thank you for watching and listening. Good night.